he going to face state or federal charges? Because the allegations outlined by the Attorney General and the laws that have been passed, including some new ones that were signed into law in the state of New York by Governor Cuomo, would indicate he could be in some serious legal jeopardy here. So where do things stand there?
Sure. So the Attorney General, Chuck, said that this, for now, is a civil matter, and her investigation concludes, and it is a civil matter as far as her office is concerned. Ann Clark, who helped head up the independent review, said, look, this is now a public report, and all of our evidence and information is out there, including text message screen grabs from one of the victims in this case, Charlotte Bennett. So that's out there, and that's available if any police department or prosecutorial office wants to take a look at it. Now, I've been asking around to various district attorneys' offices. So far, they're not commenting publicly on whether or not they're going to pick this up from an investigation standpoint on the state level and whether that would be criminal. From a federal level, as far as any potential issues for the governor there, according to our colleague Pete Williams, that appears to be more of a civil issue with respect to civil rights and the harassment claims there. So that would be the federal nexus at this point. We have yet to hear that that's something that any sort of federal authority is going to take up, although it's important to remember almost literally 2 hours ago. Chuck, a couple of things. The governor contradicted himself within his statements there. He said that he had not spoken about this investigation, yet had made numerous statements that it was biased and even suggested so there. He originally called for this and said he welcomed an independent investigation. Now the independent investigation is out. And then, as you alluded to, he wants to now have a case go before a civil court and have a judge and jury decide on it there as it pertains to one of the victims who's come forward anonymously. So that's something to note as well. With respect to his discussions with Charlotte Bennett, she did text friends contemporaneously about her discussions with the governor, where the governor talked about a tattoo that she would get and suggested that it should be a tattoo on her butt. He suggested that his dream scenario would be to travel with a woman to the mountains on a motorbike. And then they also discussed her relationships in the past, her previous issues with sexual assault, that she had been sexually assaulted, and whether or not she could be monogamous in relationships. The governor says, well, that was all just an effort to try to connect with her as a victim of sexual assault. I'll let the audience decide. And then one other just kind of final point here. A lot of these claims that have been made have really been backed up by other evidence and by other people that have seen this come forward. It was interesting to me that he did not address the allegations brought by a New York State trooper, which, according to this report, were backed up by other New York State troopers, including unwanted touching. So that's kind of where all this stands, Chuck. And obviously, New York politicians are starting to weigh in and call for his resignation.